God wants you to prosper, not somebody else, not someone down the street, but He wants you to prosper. He promises to be our exceeding great reward. God has a great plan for you. 3 John, verse 2, it says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers." Well, hello again. I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes with Heart Truth Ministries, and I have such a wonderful special guest today. My featured guest is Danielle Wainwright, or let me say, Dr. Danielle Wainwright, and you're going to just love being introduced to her today. We're going to talk about several things, so buckle up, sit back, and get ready, because we've got a novel for you that we're going to talk about. But let me just tell you a little bit about Danielle. She's worked in corporate America for over 15 years in the talent acquisition side of the house, but she's also done a lot on the financial services. But we're going to dive in today talking about a book that she's written. It's out for a while. I want you to make sure you get it. But let Danielle introduce herself to you. Danielle?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Chonta, for the opportunity to be with you today and to share a little bit of my story with the audience. I'm Dr. Danielle Wainwright. I am originally from Haiti, and I've been in the US for a long time. I finished school actually in Germany and went to high school there. And I've been in the US for a while, finished my education and got into the corporate world for a while. So in a nutshell, that's me.
Danielle is a beautiful person. Let me just tell you, inside and out from the very beginning. Definitely a Christian, one that is resilient in her faith, one that continues to exude what you want to see in this day and age. And I'm loving the fact that she's written this wonderful book,
Serenity Dance, the First Steps.
And I'm loving it. And so when you introduced yourself, Danielle, you mentioned that you grew up in Haiti. What was that like growing up in Haiti?
Well, I grew up in Haiti in a very modest family, and my mother really valued education. So she raised me as a single mother and really valued education. So she made sure that I had a good education. And when I left Haiti and went to Germany, she also wanted to make sure that I was able to continue my studies and go all the way to getting a PhD.
Wow, and you did that. Look at that. You are so accomplished. I'm loving it. But we're going to jump into the book for a moment, because let me just tell you guys, I was reading the synopsis, and this is a novel, but it's a novel with, I don't want to say a twist, but it's a novel with inspiration, a novel that has something behind the scenes, a lesson that is being taught. And we as Christians, we go through life. We look good on the outside, but we have challenges. And the Bible says that we overcome not only by the blood of the Lamb, but by the words of our testimony. And that means that we have to share with others some of our challenges. And Danielle mentioned the fact that she grew up in Haiti and she went to Germany. And this book says it's based on a true story. So I'm kind of wondering, Danielle, was this based on your story?
Well, Dr. Chonta, let's say it is a fictionalized memoir. So it is based on my life story, but at the same time, there are some events there that actually happened, but some events that didn't happen. So I'm leaving it up to the reader to kind of decipher and figure out what is what. So that's
That means, look, let me translate that. We need to get to know Danielle to find out what's true and what's not about her in this book. I'm absolutely loving it. Well, let me do this. I'm going to start, and I want to read the synopsis that's on the back of the book, because I thought it was written so brilliantly. And then we're going to talk about what it's like to be resilient, especially in today's culture, and what we need to do. But let me just give you a taste. It says, at the tender age of 17, and I'm going to summarize it, Gabrielle, who is the name of this lovely, wonderful, strong woman in this book, she leaves her home country of Haiti full of hope. And we know about hope, that expectation of something good. She expects to earn an education and dreams of impacting the lives of women worldwide. Will her new opportunities create opposition? Will she overcome her losses and pursue her mission? Those are some questions that as we go through life, we want to know, am I going to do all of what God has called me to do? It says it's inspired by a true story. This first novel in a series, put a pin right there because we've got to come back because there's got to be a sequel to this. Her journey as she navigates the bittersweet waters of leaving behind her first love, Benji. Oh, guys, there's a lot in this book. And the cruel truth thrust upon her in Germany. Wow, wonder what that truth is. Gabrielle struggles to restore her faith in mankind and in God, in spite of the circumstances she lives through in a foreign land. It is a story of survival and resilience, and Gabrielle is forced to mature and face the harsh reality of life at a very vulnerable age. Upon her arrival in Germany, Gabrielle had to overcome her culture shock and quickly acclimate to her new family, a new school, a new set of friends, and her new life. She knew when she left Haiti that her life would never be the same, but she was not at all prepared for the events that changed her life in a profound and dramatic way. If you were in her shoes, what would you do? We're going to begin this journey with this strong and beautiful woman on her quest for self-discovery, inner peace, love, and happiness. Discover the serenity that lies within. Now, I'm going to tell you, Danielle and Gabrielle, as we talk about both of them, we know that life brings us many twists and turns. And as we try to navigate that, it can be very difficult holding on to our faith and trusting. What would you say, because this is a story of resilience, what would you say to my audience about what we need to do as we go through life and some of the challenges? Just tell us a little bit more about Gabrielle's story, if you would.
Well, as we go through life, especially when we leave the comfort of our home, of our family, and we go to a foreign land, we have some expectations. And as Christians, we believe that God has our back and he will protect us and he will make sure that we are safe, that we are happy, that we have the desires of our heart, because that's what he promises us. And we really rest on these promises. So for Gabrielle, when she got into that situation, when she went to Germany, she had her faith in God, but at the same time, she had faith in this family member who took her in, and she was totally trusting God and trusting this family member because that was all she had. But through a series of events, her faith was shaken a little bit, very deeply, I would say, but she was able to be resilient. She struggled through it because she's young. As a teenager, that's not what she expected. She had rosy picture of life in Germany, but that's not what she experienced at all. She lived through it, and at the end of the first book, she's very well set, let's say, on a journey to recovery, but throughout the book, she remained resilient.
We do trust people, but God tells us to trust him. You know, we
Yes.
go back to Proverbs 3, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. We're supposed to have our faith and our trust, our belief is in God. And we as Christians are actually living in a foreign land. And so we can come up with those things that don't happen the way that we want them to happen, or people being mean and nasty and evil or doing bad things. You know, bad things do happen to good people. And we recognize that we also have to be resilient. We have to recognize that our faith and our trust shouldn't be in necessarily man. We want to trust, though, Danielle. Am I not right? We want to trust people.
Yes, absolutely. We do. And, we do develop a horizontal relationship on this earth, but at the same time, as you mentioned, the vertical relationship with God, the trust has to be deeper. But also, as a young woman, Gabrielle had to rely on some people on earth, right? For advice, for guidance, to make sure that she's making the right choices, because she was innocent. She didn't know what to do in this land, how to maneuver, a lot of the things that she had to take care of. So she had to put trust in, her family members there. But at the same time, like you said, the vertical trust was more important, than the trust in her family. And she had to go through that and learn the hard way that complete trust in God and his promises, and then knowing that God will take her through whatever she's going through. She had to learn those lessons. She had to.
Yes, you said a mouthful there too. Let me just say before we continue on, audience, please go get this book, Serenity Dance, The First Steps. You want to get this one before that second one comes out. But it is filled with a lot of practical and really things that happen in our lives. Like I said, we are living in a foreign land, and when we have a culture shock, because things aren't the way they used to be and we trust someone else, a lot of times we back off and then we start doubting God. And it's not him that we should be doubting, it's the people. And they're really seeing us, like Danielle said, through rose colored glasses. We walk through life thinking everybody's going to be perfect, and they're not. And they don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. But I'm assuming that even in reading the book, there's some hard questions that Gabrielle has to ask God to make sure that her faith, as she starts stumbling through life, she needs to build that resilience. And that means asking these hard questions. What do you say about that one, Danielle?
Yes, she did ask these questions, and even at the end of the book, she doesn't have all the answers yet.
Mhm.
For example, she asked questions about love. She believed in God's love, but at the same time, she did experience her first love,
Mhm.
and she felt that this person was going to be her spouse, was going to, she was going to live her happily forever after with that person. So she hang on to that, and I think that was part of what helped her through all these difficult times. So she didn't question God's love for her, but she did ask herself about without revealing what happened, about the struggles that she had with, the earthly love, her first love on earth. So she had some issues with that, and she had to grapple with that. But also she had to go back to God's love to know that it's the strongest, it's the purest form of love, and that's what will bring her comfort. And she had to rest on that love.
You're absolutely right. Many times we try to replace the love that God shows for us with that human type. I need to be able to touch and feel you. But
Mhm.
God has such an intimate relationship, or He allows us to have such an intimate relationship with Him. He already knows everything about us, even every single question or thought that we have in our minds, even though it might not come out of our mouth. He knows it. So we can't hide anything from him, but it sometimes can be difficult to trust others. But love is a strong motivator.
Mhm.
And I am glad that you put that in the book as well, because we do struggle. And our teenagers today, we're living in a time where so many are turning away from the faith that they're not asking the hard questions. They're assuming everything is going to be perfect. You walk down the aisle, you give the pastor your hand and you give God your heart, and everything's supposed to be coming up roses and it's beautiful, and it doesn't happen that way. because we truly do have an enemy on the other side that says, I don't want you outside of my kingdom. And, that instantaneous changing from darkness to light is a miracle in and of itself. And that's what God allows us to have. But Satan is not happy about that at all. So he will try us at every turn. Well, one thing that I am so glad about, Danielle, as I looked at your book and at the synopsis of your book, it is well written in such a fashion that you take us on this journey, but you hit some of these major points that we would have in our own lives. And that resilience is a big one. Be able to go through and come out on the other side still smelling like a rose and not being so withered and wilted because of the circumstances. But what would you say would be some of the big takeaways you would want someone to take from this novel?
The first one would be understanding God's timing, because as He takes us through some of the difficult experiences in life,
Mhm.
we don't always understand why now. Because someone could say, well, that young lady is so young, she's 17. Why now? Why not wait until she's more mature to take her through these hard experiences? Part of resilience and part of trusting God completely is understanding His timing. Although we may question the events that are happening, but questioning God's timing or questioning God, as His child, we would do that, but don't expect for Him to reveal those answers to us right away. So that's one of the lessons: understanding God's timing and also God's purpose for us. For Gabrielle, she could ask, and she has asked, why me? Why am I going through this? Why are you breaking your promises to me? You're not protecting me. You're letting me go through all these experiences. But the purpose is that God was preparing her for something much, much bigger. And in order for her to gain the empathy, the understanding of women down the line, she had to go through it. And when she would sit down later on with a woman and say, I understand what you're going through, that would be real, that would be true, because she would have gone through these experiences herself.
Wow. Now, you're speaking my language, right? Danielle and I have been connected, networking for just a little while now. And most of my audience already knows, Danielle, that after 29 years of marriage, I'm going through a divorce. And in that process, one of my passions is helping women that are devastated by the double D's, divorce or death, to be able to gain that confidence to live life on their terms, but also to make sure they have not only peace, but they have that financial security. And so when you say yes, sometimes we go through, God's timing is perfect. And we look at some of these hard moments and we think, why am I going through this? Sometimes it's not just for you, but it's for somebody else. And that's what you just said. And it just, I could feel it all over when you were saying, like, I already know that, right? So we want to see the silver lining. And sometimes the question that we ask God is not, why is this happening to me? But instead asking, what should I learn from this situation? Where are you taking me? Who else can I help with this information? Because we can truly be authentic and we can say, I understand. Unfortunately, we live in a fallen world. So I appreciate the fact that you wrote this book. But Danielle, let's switch over a little bit to the financial side, because I love making sure that our people, and you're on the same page, we volunteer just as much with the communities, with the churches. We want to make sure that our people are financially astute. And so I want to give you an opportunity to speak a little bit also about what you're doing on the financial side. So go ahead, Danielle, and give my audience a little taste of the other side of Danielle, if you would.
I have a company called Creative Wealth Solutions Enterprises. What I do, I help individuals and businesses prepare for major risks in life. And I do have a product that I market, but at the same time, I make sure that people understand the financial choices that they make. And I provide them with the tool, which is the product, to make sure that they are prepared for these risks.
Yes, and we want to talk a little bit about that. My audience knows, Danielle, that I do a lot of the financial literacy, and I know you're big on financial literacy as well. I don't sell any products. I just make sure that your money management is together, and I do it from a biblical perspective. Danielle has that same thought process in mind, but one of the key things that I know that you're really keen about is how we live the latter part of our life out, making sure that we have these living benefits, if you would, that would then, these products that will put us in a place so that we won't spend everything that we have amassed at a moment in time. Can you just give us a little bit of some of the products that you do offer for others?
One of the flagship products that we offer, as you mentioned, is an insurance product that has living benefits. So that means we provide a product where people don't have to die to benefit from their life insurance. So while they're living, if they are diagnosed with any major illness, we make sure that they have the financial means to cover their expenses. And also, if they own a business and they want to manage their cash flow and save on taxes and all that, we provide them with a tool where they can actually retire tax-free, believe it or not. But it's applying the principles and then getting the right product so they can accomplish these things.
And you work with them to determine what is the right product for them, correct?
Yes, absolutely. When we sit down with them, we do a needs analysis to determine several things: their financial situation, the health of their finances, and also their goals, whether they have children, they have loved ones they would like to leave a legacy for, or whether they want to focus on retiring comfortably. So whatever their goals are, we craft the solutions so they can meet their goals.
All right, and I'm going to say the Bible says that a good man and woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children. So you make sure you leave that legacy, okay? Yes, you want to be comfortably retired, but you want to leave something behind too. So I am so glad, Danielle, that you had an opportunity to come on. But let me say, audience, make sure that you connect with Danielle. She is on social media. You can find her on Facebook, and it's Danielle Wainwright, or you can find her business page on Facebook, which is Build Wealth with Danielle. Make sure you look that up. She's also on LinkedIn under Dr. Danielle Wainwright. You can find her there. But make sure you go, number one, and get the book Serenity Dance, the first steps. You want to go ahead and download that. That is out of outskirtpress.com, and you just do / My Serenity Dance, and you'll be able to find it. And I'm making sure I'll put the links below as well as in the show notes. If you're listening on podcast, make sure you go get that. I think you're going to enjoy the read, but more importantly, you're going to get something out of it, because it's going to then help you ask some of those hard questions to God, and also realize that He answers. He's always there. He's always ever present, and He's still looking out for your good. He says all things are going to work out for our good, but it might not taste good right now, but when that cake is done, we're going to love it. We might not like the flour or the eggs and all the things, the ingredients that go into it, but at the very end, it is going to be not only smell good, but it's going to look good and taste good too. So we're hoping that that is going to happen. So go get the book. But then also, if you're in the market, and I will say this, if you're one of my clients, come see me so that I can help you get through this transition in life. But when you finish with that, make sure that you have the benefits that you need, that you get the right products from a person who is not just trying to sell you anything. I pride myself in making sure that I connect you with the right folks, the ones that are going to care about you, and making sure you're doing what's right with the kingdom as well, so that you can make a kingdom impact and an influence in this life. So make sure you connect with Danielle, and that's Creative Wealth Solutions Enterprises. Now, I'm going to put the link below, but it's a long link for you to get on her Calendly, because she is offering you a free consultation. But in the interim, what I will say is you can connect with her on her email. And her email address is homesaver99@hotmail.com. Again, that's homesaver99@hotmail.com. Make sure you connect with her. Say you heard it on this podcast or you saw it on the YouTube and you want to set up a consultation, and she can send you that link then and you can get on her schedule so you have the opportunity to talk. It has truly been my pleasure, Danielle. I love what you're doing. You're multi-talented. God has gifted you in so many ways. It has truly been my pleasure for having you here with me today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chonta, for the opportunity to share my story, share a little bit of my background and what I do currently with your audience. And I wish you well in your endeavors, and thank you for wanting to put others out there and giving yourself to others that way, so we can promote each other. And I'm looking forward to continuing working with you, and wherever the opportunity arises, I'll be glad to refer my clients to you also, so you can do financial literacy, because what we do, they complement each other. And I definitely thank you for the opportunity to be here and share my story and my services with your audience.
Oh, it has truly been my pleasure. So here's your takeaways today, because you guys know I help you put feet to your faith so that you can walk victoriously. Be resilient. Trust the Lord in everything, regardless of what the circumstance is. Let me say this. It's not what you're walking into, but it's who you're walking in with. And you've got God on your side. So no matter what comes your way, God is always present. David said, if I go to the mountaintop, you're there. If I'm in the valley below, thou art there. There's no place that we can hide from him, and we don't want to. We want to hide under his wings, as it says in the 91st Psalm. That's where we want to be. And there's things in life that do happen. Don't necessarily ask the question why, but ask, what am I supposed to learn from this? Who am I going to be able to serve because of this? What is my true purpose? How can I get back to this love and this serenity? How can I get back to this inner peace with who God has called me to be in the world and in a culture that I'm in a foreign land about? So make sure you get the book, read it. I love the fact that she did it in a novel form. And you'll find out what's going to be in part 2. I told you put a pin in it, because there's another book that's got to be on the way. So get the first one so you can finish it before that second one comes out. Danielle, are you going to tell us when that second one's coming out?
It's work in progress, let's
It's
say.
a work in progress. I love it. Okay, so when it comes to the finances, I want you to see Danielle too, especially if you're looking for those retirement areas, that living benefits, that side. If you're looking for some products, talk with her. It doesn't hurt to have a conversation. So again, that is Creative Wealth Solutions Enterprises. Make sure you go see her with that. And My Serenity Dance, the first steps. See her, get what she has, get connected on all social media. It's truly been my pleasure. I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes with Heart Truth Ministries. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Hi, thanks for listening and watching. And if you enjoyed what you've seen, make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and hit that notification button so you'll know the next time there's a new episode. Listen, as a result of my coaching program, my clients have experienced a calming of the emotional roller coaster. They have a compelling future, as well as a confidence in the know-how to achieve it. And they have clarity on the financial tools that they need in order to live life on their terms and save tens of thousands of dollars. I'm looking for women who are devastated by the double D's, divorce or death, who want to gain confidence to live life on their terms with peace and financial security. My question is, who do you know? Have them go ahead and book a call with me so that we can get to that compelling future. My heart may be broke, but your bank account doesn't have to be. You can find us online at htruth.org. At Heart Truth Ministries, we're helping believers live an abundant life based on God's word, standing on his promises, walking out his principles, sharing with God's people, serving as unto the Lord.